My name is Elbek Rashidov. I work as a plastic surgeon in Prague. I came from Uzbekistan in 2011. After graduating from the university, I collected the documents and came to Europe, as they say. My aim was to continue working as a doctor and receiving postgraduate training. As a result, it turned out that now I'm a plastic surgeon. In the last years of the university, I began to think about the future. What to do next? Where to go next? Because doctors do not end their careers after graduation. They say the doctors study all their lives, and partially it is true. You need postgraduate training to be qualified as a specialist in some area. I decided to leave my home, leave Uzbekistan, because I had extensive plans and high ambitions. I understood that in order to achieve my goal, I needed to see the world. I started choosing a university for postgraduate education. I decided between Germany, the Czech Republic, and Switzerland. But since at the time, my cousin lived in the Czech Republic, it was already decided. I began to look into different options, how to move there, though it is real at all. Everything was unclear. Some people offered their help, but no one gave any guarantees. I came across the GoStudy company. It helped foreign students to come to the Czech Republic and enter universities or continue their postgraduate education. We contacted the company and they explained the whole deal. What do we have to do? What documents we need to collect? How the whole process would go? Of course, we had our doubts. After all, this meant immigration, other country. We didn't know. Should we trust this company or not? But my cousin helped me out. He came to the office of the company, found out everything about them and said the company is real. It has students, everything is okay. Of course, it had good reviews on the internet. Well, at the moment it was decided that we are going to Prague. I collected all the documents, applied for a visa. GoStudy, by the way, helped with this. It offered a complete package, including full visa support and of course, language courses. In November 2011, I came to Prague. I immediately started learning the Czech language. It was 4 months of continuous language learning. The emphasis was placed on medical terminology. I remember my teacher, Mrs. Svetlana. She is a very nice woman. Every day, we had about 6 hours of language practice. The atmosphere was very pleasant. All students were doctors from different CIS countries. This is the admission room in a public hospital. Here, we usually examine our patients. They came with their specific complaints or referrals from other specialists. I usually work here at the computer. I have the entire database of the patients, all their clinical records. My assistant sits here. This is the couch where we examine patients. Here, we take pictures of our patients. As plastic surgeons, we always take pictures before and after the surgery. It is very important to know how the patient looked before to show, so to speak, all the magic of this profession, what it was and what it became. About 60% of our patients are the patients with skin cancer or patients who need reconstruction after injuries, accidents, burns. We remove or revise scars. Basically, correct everything that needs to be corrected. And a small part of our work in a public clinic is aesthetic surgery. But of course, we do that too. We perform liposuction, breast augmentation, breast modeling, facelift, body lift, nose correction, lip correction, and so on. When we just started learning medical terminology, we knew that we would face the first stage of approbation, which is a written test. The second part is all about legislative or legal issues of Czech healthcare. We began to prepare for the test. We were told that it is best to take it in Czech language because the quality of translation into Russian is very low. It is the level of the Google Translator, so the meaning in many cases is lost. They were very confusing for those who chose to take the test in Russian. Therefore, we decided to take it in Czech, which was actually more difficult but helped a lot in the future. We took books at the library of Charles University. I had to literally translate every other word into Russian, compose sentences, understand the meaning, because at the first sight, all the books were full of absolutely incomprehensible words. We learned terminology, prepared for the tests, and thank God, the first stage of approbation the written test was successfully passed. It was very important for all of us because it meant that we could progress to the next stage. In case of failure, we would perhaps go home because the visa was issued for 6 months and we would run out of time. It was a very difficult period in my life, very stressful, but thankfully it passed. The next stage was a 5-month practice in a Czech hospital. After that, we had to get a confirmation from the head of the department about our competence that we can work. We know what to do. We know what's what. We all understood that after the practice, we would be facing the 3rd stage of approbation, which is an oral exam. It is probably one of the hardest exams I have ever taken in my life. Imagine, you are asked questions by Czech professors, any questions that come to their minds in Czech, while your Czech is not fluent at all. So yeah, of course, it was very difficult. During these 5 months, we were knee-deep in books. In addition, we had to practice, which is actually a full-time working day, an 8-hour day. We worked during the day, studied at night. Of course, it was very difficult. And then the day of the oral examination came. It was even funny, thankfully, the professors were patient. Because I had to answer some questions using sign language, literally using my hands, half in Russian, half in Czech. But luckily, I managed to pass this exam. It's very difficult to pass it. The passing success rate is about 10 to 20%. That means only 1 or 2 applicants out of 10 to 12 can pass it successfully. So, after passing the exams, including the last oral one, I received a certificate of approbation. That means I was equal to a graduate of a Czech university. I proved that both my certificate of higher education and the level of my knowledge correspond to a graduate of a Czech university. After that, I guess all possibilities opened for me, and I began my postgraduate training. I made mistakes, fell into the traps, hit a wall several times, but still did not give up and went ahead. Now, I can give a couple of tips to those who want to choose this way, and they can avoid making those mistakes. When we arrived to the Czech Republic, there were very few similar examples. There were very few people who went all this way. All the way. And not just passed the exam, there were practically no such examples at all, We did not understand a lot of things. It was unclear what was ahead and how to do it correctly. Now I can tell guys and girls, all my colleagues who want to come to the Czech Republic to start this journey from home. Because when we arrived here, we realized that some things can be done this way and some things the other way. Some things can be done this way and some things must be done another way. So, we spent time, effort, even money, I guess. The first advice is to start learning the language well in advance. We all understand that if I decided to come to the Czech Republic today, I will not go there tomorrow. This is a long process that includes the collection of documents, waiting for a visa issuance, making a lot of decisions, a lot of issues that need to be addressed. If you have already made such a decision, then it is probably best to start learning a language, learning medical terminology, reading this language, watching videos in this language. Nowadays, there is a lot of stuff on the internet. Everything is available. There are Czech tutors in Russia, in Ukraine, and even in Uzbekistan. The next step, when you arrive, stay away from the Russian-speaking society. When we arrived, we, of course, were constantly among our own, among the Russian-speaking guys, and this, in fact, gets in the way, Gets in the way of language learning. Because, it's cool to speak Czech for 6 hours during the language course, but if the other 18 hours you speak completely Russian, it gets in the way of your progress, in fact. If there is an opportunity, immediately upon arrival in the Czech Republic, go out into the streets, try to communicate with people, say hello. The Czechs, in fact, are normal people. They feel comfortable if somebody tries to communicate in Czech. This only accelerates the process of language learning. I keep talking about the language because it really is the most important thing. If you know the language, you can read proper books and prepare for the exam. If you know the language, you can better answer questions and make a better impression on the professors and pass the exam. And one more thing I want to tell everyone who wants to come to the Czech Republic to work as a doctor. Do not be afraid. Do not worry. It is real. I am the living example. I'm a simple guy from Uzbekistan. I was born in a common family. I graduated the medical university without honors, and I got this. I had a goal, I had a dream, I had ambitions.